Tamra showing that fat photo, I'm putting that in quotes, of Jen was to do what? What was your point, Tamra? Because that is some mean ass shit. Showing it to prove that she just wanted to look like you? How has Tamra turned Jen's entire existence into a single white female for Tamra? Okay. All right, we're going to talk about Orange County today, episode 5. I felt like this episode was not a filler, but it just wasn't as exciting because then the teaser for next week is like, hello. So let's get into it, guys. But before I do, make sure you're subscribed and following the show. And if you're watching on YouTube, like and leave a comment for me, okay? Let's freaking do it. All right, Gina has the girls over to her new big house, which she's very, very proud of. And Shannon, when she comes in, has her typical bitchy, it's nice. It's nice. It's nice. Okay. And the discussion of the fat photo comes up. Jen is not here for Heather trying to be like, I can sort of see Tamra's side of the single white female theory. And while I do agree that Heather didn't necessarily indulge Tamra, and Heather doesn't indulge Tamra fully in the conversations where she's just being really shady about looks. If you'll remember, this is throwing it way back when Vicky returned to whatever season number that was and had gotten the chin implant. And Tamra was like, have you seen Vicky? And Heather goes, oh yeah, she had a little something done. And she's like, a little something. And Heather went, I don't like to do that, so don't do that. Heather's pretty careful in that way. However, saying that there's even a point Tamra has is crazy. What point does Tamra have? There's no point. This should be I gotta tell you, Tamra, this doesn't sound like she's obsessed with you. Especially the reasons you give are like, you don't own gyms and working out and blonde hair. And so... And also, again, I know I talked about this last week, but the whole thing about the extensions and how Tamara's like, that was fucking weird. When Jen said what it was like it was meant to be funny. Like it was just me being funny about with my friend. And to have that used against me later, that's like a fear of mine in friendships, to have someone just like turn something on. Like, I didn't know this whole time that you thought I was some weirdo. Right? Like, oh, I thought that was a funny moment, but I guess it was creepy and weird, and now you're turning it into, I'm obsessed with you. Tamra does look great at this event, though, I will say. Sorry. The ponytail, her glam team really crushes it with her hair. Like, really crushes it with her hair. Because that ponytail with the body on it and the curl, well done. But the way the group ends up splitting off is kind of interesting because you got Tamra and Gretchen, Katie and Gina all inside, and then outside is the rest of them. But I was just like, Tamra's talking right to Gretchen. She's looking right at Gretchen when she's talking about the dinner with Jen. And Tamra goes, it went south quick. She started calling me names, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. And Gretchen, without missing a beat, goes, didn't you call her single white female? And Tamra looks slightly stunned. She's like, oh, wait, you heard about that? And she goes, yeah, because she asked me, she's like, I heard you said that I'm obsessed with you. And I go, well, yeah, looking at it now, I feel like you are. And then she says, you're reaching out to people that don't like me to build relationships with them. And Gretchen goes, like who? You? Like you? And Gretchen's like, she needed consoling. You said that Ryan had got raided by the FBI. And Tamra rolls her, okay, and I apologized for that. But now Gretchen kind of loses me here because she goes, it feels like you're not learning your lesson on anything. And Tamra goes, oh, no, I've learned my lesson. But Gretchen goes, but you didn't because you went and did the same thing to Ryan. I'm like, wait, are you talking about Slade? I thought maybe she was saying like overall you're not learning. No, you're specifically talking about what she quote did with Slade, and now did it to. I got to tell you, what she did with Slade to me was fine because Slade was a freak. I don't like Slade at all. He wasn't this innocent guy that should have been protected. Like no. All right. Then Tamra goes, come on, Gretchen. I don't want to go back with you on all this stuff. You have repeatedly gone after me for the past 12 years. And Gretchen says, "You're actually delusional," and walks out. And I actually thought Gretchen did a pretty good job. It was a little weird because she is still referencing things that happened so long ago as if like that was like, I don't think Tamara's going to ever look at what she did with Slade as some sort of thing she did wrong. And I don't, because I did not like Slade at all. So I don't really feel like that's really relevant, but doesn't matter because when she said, "Didn't you call her a single white female?" And Tamara was like, "Oh, wait, what?" I was like, yeah, that was good. All right, Gina announces the cast trip to New Orleans, but it makes Tamara cry because apparently that was where Teddy fell and hit her head, or that's where this whole process started. And that's kind of why I said, like, it's a little bit, I don't know if I said this out loud, but, it's just really inconvenient timing that Tamara is filming this and all this is happening with Teddy because it is her turn to be held accountable. It's Tamara's turn. Okay, it's been her turn. But because of the Teddy thing, it's like, all right, okay, fine. Jen and Ryan get a little sweating for the wedding session in. Jen admits here that she has body image issues, which is why the whole fatty photo thing is hurtful. And I get it. All right. After their sweat sesh, though, Jen brings up the situation with her ex-husband, which I thought was interesting, like post-workout, maybe just because it was being filmed. But I'm like, deep photo to have. I appreciated her having the conversation on camera. So she says to Ryan, "I know you're stepping into areas for the kids that you shouldn't have to." And Ryan does not hold back. He goes, "I think the situation with your ex is weighing on me maybe more than I'm voicing. It's problematic. It's been over a year. All the kids live with us. You have a lump sum settlement agreed upon, which he has not paid $1 towards." And I was like, oh, it's really that bad. Like, it's really. But then it also is like, remember how Tamra was that for Jen's first season was like, "Will, we loved her husband, Will. Jen's husband, Will, was such a great guy." Maybe he wasn't so great. Maybe he wasn't so awesome because this guy doesn't sound so cool. Like, he sounds like a dick. But then Ryan goes, "I just want to sit with them. I just want to sit with them and say, it's not confrontational. It's just like, what are you doing?" "Oh, that'll go over really well." Sure. But then Jen gets like oddly emotional here. And this is where I was kind of like, oh, wait a minute, what's happening? And she goes, "The amount that you say it weighs on you weighs on me tenfold, but I'm so glad that you're telling me. For 20 years, if I needed to get attention from him, I would get naked in front of him because that would be like AirPods out, laptop closed. And then I know you and I are so adamant about authentically living our lives with each other. And so I'm glad that you're telling me." I'm like, what the fuck did that have to do with anything? Like, I don't understand that segue or that she just, I don't know. And she goes, "Because I'm not getting divorced again. It freaks me out. I don't ever want to be divorced. You are forever for me." And I was like, I'm a little nervous again. I don't know. Ryan really makes me uncomfortable. All right. Gina goes over to Shannon's and she shares what's been going on with Travis's ex. My God, this woman. Gina says they haven't seen one of his sons in 3 weeks. His ex-wife stops sending him to school. Can you do that? And Gina says, "I know it's a response to us moving back in together." Now, why the hell does Shannon right here go, "Would it be better if you guys were married?" What? Better? She just moved back in with them and you think it'd be better if they were engaged right now? Shannon, sometimes that like old lady conservative side really comes out in her. All right, New Orleans. Once again, the shifts that they go in 2 shifts, and they're a little funny to me. First shift is Gina, Emily, Katie, Gretchen. That's, I don't know. But then the second shift is Tamra, Jen, Shannon, Heather. I guess because I'm like, Tamra could have gone with the Gina, Emily, maybe Katie crew, but even Katie going with Gina and Emily is kind of odd. I'm like, I don't know how I would have split this up, but it was just interesting. The first shift does the riverboat tour, and they're so stupid they don't know what river they're on, which was incredible. I'm like, why? It's so easy. Just look, go to your maps, look up, where am I? It's so simple to look at that, guys. But then Emily tells them about how Shannon is asking Jen not to roll, quote, on her, aka make up with Tamra, which is, I kind of don't blame Shannon for that. But Shannon does like to have alliances. That is a thing, for sure. But anyways, this becomes going into dinner because that's where they're going to meet up with the second shift. There's a big discussion over just one big Tamra intervention, which we know is just going to be a horrible idea, right? But I have a question. In the van on their way to dinner, when Emily pulls up Shannon's dress and is like, am I going to be looking at your vagina all night? That wasn't really her vagina, right? She had Spanx on, right? Right? Please tell me. Please tell me that's what was happening there. It has to be Spanx. It has to be Spanx. And they're just messing with Shannon because if not, anyway, very smart for these women to have an entire private room away from the rest of the restaurant, I will say. And it's like in a spirit room. It's this whole New Orleans, like voodoo-y vibe, which I love. But Gina asks Jen who is with the kids? And she's like, oh, this brings up the whole Ryan-Will interaction. Obviously, that did not go well. Obviously. But Jen knows I'm now going to be punished. I'll be blocked. Won't be able to communicate about anything. I'm definitely not going to get any money now. Can't you go to jail for not paying, though? Like after a certain amount of time? Like you got to do it. But then Will's like, I pay for insurance and for some. I'm on the hook for his loan or something like that. This is starting to feel kind of like my parents' divorce, a little bit, just a little. Katie can actually relate though, because Katie's husband Matt was having to deal with her shitty ex too. So that's cool that they have that connection. Gina, speaking of, really gets it because only 6 hours earlier found out that Travis's ex was contacting Gina's son and ex-husband. How can her stepson not have to go to school? Like, how can you not take your kid to school for a month? I could have swore that was like when cops start showing up or something. But horrible. I mean, I don't know how old it's not like these kids are, but still. That is just this lady. I wish I knew more about her. Does anyone have tea on this lady? I don't know why I'm like afraid to look into it too much. Is this a drug problem? Is maybe that her issue? Because it's sounding a little bit maybe like that. The rest of this dinner is kind of just like sexy, silly, girly stuff. But Shannon does get a good dig in at Katie because I can't remember. Heather might say, I've never made a sex tape. And then Katie's like, I have. And Shannon goes, of course she has. Katie likes to record things. I mean, it was pretty good. She couldn't let it go. But this whole moment just ends with Gina being like, guys, I'm so glad we're having fun. And we put our differences aside. And then you just knew it was coming. ... 24 hours later. And this killer teaser. Now that we have more context for why Tamra left, because we all remember when Tamra quit. We all were on social media and saw that she quit. And I was very annoyed because I was like, nope, you are not. You're supposed to be able to take it, Tamra. You have to. I can't tell who Gina's talking to, but if Gina really is saying to Tamra, and you seem sloshed right now, that would be incredible. That would be incredible. And also, it makes it even more embarrassing for Tamra. Sorry, it does. Like you were just drunk and couldn't handle it and were like, I'm leaving. I am never working here again. And then now you are. And then you went back, just for attention. And like, but everyone has a problem with Tamra right now. Every single person, not everyone, but pretty much. And almost no one can get behind the Jen is obsessed with me theory. That's just like, okay, what are we doing here now? But anyway, so yeah, like I said, this episode's a little bit fillery, wasn't a whole lot going on, but next week it looks like it's kicking off. So I'm excited for that. Okay. Sorry it's so short, but that's all they gave me to work with today, guys. Kendrick and I will be live Sunday, 10 a.m. PT for our weekly wrap-up per usual. So come check us out if you can. If not, replay will be available. And I love you so much. Mean it. I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to She's Speaking with Emily Hanks. This show is produced, hosted, and edited by me, Emily, and brought to you in partnership with Cloud 10 Media. If you are looking for bonus content, check out the Patreon. The link is in the description. To show some support, you can hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Another free way to support the pod, please rate and/or review on whatever platform you listen. It's free, and it helps the algorithm. or something. You could also head to buymeacoffee.com/shespeaks and buy me a coffee or two. Make sure you're following me on all social medias. I am She's Speaking with Emily Hanks across all platforms: Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's it. Thank you guys. See you soon.